Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Baka.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome back, Oak. You made it back. Good job.
I made it back.
The snow didn't get him. The snow didn't get him this
snow
time.
didn't get me.
time.
I drove in the snow.
Did you panic like all the rest of the people in the South?
The only thing that I had a problem with, and I was telling Griff this story, is because we're in the mountains. Like, I was scared I was going to end up off the side of a mountain because I didn't know how, like, their infrastructure was built in the area that we're at, because it was, it's kind of a rural area. And so I was leaving, and there was a good amount of snow where we were at. But what I was scared of is there was one turn that you come down, and it was kind of Y-shaped back the opposite direction, and I had to make that left turn to get to it. And there's a row of mailboxes that were right there. And what I was scared of is I was going to hit the gas. The thing was going to slide sideways, and I was just going to nail all of those mailboxes. But
you
luckily,
got to learn how to drift. You got to learn how to drift in the
but
snow, man.
luckily,
Just make sure you
no
get
problem.
enough momentum, and then just jerk that thing real quick, and you'll just drift around the corner.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough that I planned things like I was looking at the weather, planning everything to the T. Actually, me, Chicken, and Griff all have jobs to where we have to look at the weather constantly. So it's one of those where thank God that we have the jobs that we do, because I can turn around and do what we need to. But so I'm looking at the weather and I'm going, okay, it's supposed to rain for this 2 hours. So after the first hour, I'm going to go out and I'm going to check the road to see if I can do what I need to. And so that's what I did. And I timed it right because people had already driven on a little bit, and I was able to stay inside those lanes and get it. And it was slushy instead of slick, and it was nice. I got home no problem. But it was a lot of snow. Snow is beautiful. I like looking at it in pictures. That's all I can tell people. At the end of the day, I am not a fan of snow itself. No.
Snow.
Shame.
Snow.
Shame.
You can keep that there, sir.
If I could bring it down here, I would. I would absolutely, in a heartbeat.
You
I
could
would
just
snow in this entire
move
state.
like 150 miles north of us, like in the northern part of the state, and you get it.
No, I'll be honest. It brings me a little bit of joy whenever it does snow down here, because I love watching the Southerners panic.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
I showed
watching
it.
the bread aisle just disappear is
I showed it to
hilarious.
Griff, but I didn't show it to you. So I had to, because I was worried about the fact that we might get snowed in. And I never, ever, when it's snowing here, I don't go to the grocery store because I know better. But in this particular case, I was like, okay, I'm in the northern part of a state that gets snow on a periodic basis, so this shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I was so wrong. The meat department was completely gone. There was no bread anywhere in sight. I didn't check the milk department. And for those that don't know, Southerners go get bread and milk for some stupid reason. I've yet to figure that one.
I still don't know why it's those two objects.
At least these people were smarter. Like, I get to the vegetables and the fruit department, there's hardly anything there either. And I'm like, oh my God, they've like taken like legit food. And all right, cool. And so all of that's gone. And they had taken one little piece and put all the stuff that was left basically in one little thing. So there was like onions, peppers, avocados, and like a carrot.
Just one carrot.
That one.
And I was like,
carrot.
all right. And I was like, all right, well, I'll make something. I picked up some like cheap meat because it was the only thing that was available left. And I was like, okay, I'll make some like Mexican dish or something I can make real quick. They were out of chili seasoning, out of cayenne pepper, and out of cumin. And I was like, okay, what else do I got? And I look up and it was like garlic salt and an Italian seasoning. And I was like, well, some type of form of spaghetti it is. Let me go to the noodle department. The last box of noodles they had were these rotini that were like tricolored and weird flavors. And it was like, it was horrible. It was like one of the worst meals I ever had. But I was like, at least I'm not starving to death.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an adventure. But the rest of the trip was fantastic. It was good. We had a blast. And, we got to see like a really pretty area of like, I don't go to Georgia often because, well, it's Georgia. But the area that we were in was really, really, really pretty. So highly recommend northern Georgia area if you're just looking for a trip to go on. But I wouldn't recommend it during the snow season. That's where I draw the line.
That's one thing.
To segue from his random food making, segues into what we've been playing quite a bit this week, is Project Zomboid, and there's a lot of cooking in there, and honestly, most of the time, I just slam things together in a stir-fry mix, and I'm like,
it's not
hopefully
even
it makes you happy enough.
It's whatever. Like, I was making one, and I was like, okay, I've got a bowl, it'll let me make a salad, and when you click the make salad thing, it's like, got a drop down, and it has add random, like, meat, add random vegetable, add random, like, so you can add whatever, make it. So I was like, okay, whatever, meat's a pretty good thing, a starter, because we all need the protein and calories and whatnot. So I was like, add random meat, ham. Or no, it was beef jerky. And I was like, all right. And then I was
like a beef jerky salad.
Add random condiment, because I was like, it'll pour olive oil or something. Nope, honey. I was like, okay then. And I added like 2 more things that I think it did end up adding olive oil. It was like olive oil, beef jerky, honey, and cantaloupe is what's in that salad. So
you lost me at cantaloupe. I would have I like cantaloupe, but I was thinking honey and beef jerky. Like, depending on what kind of flavor beef jerky it was, that wouldn't be too bad, because you could get almost like having a sauce with like a weird bacon, right? But,
a weird bacon. Yes.
I mean, to be fair, beef jerky is just beef bacon, essentially. It's just it's dried differently. So I was like, you had me, and then you put the cantaloupe, and I was like, now peaches I'd probably been okay with, but the cantaloupe with that, that flavoring with the honey might be a little weird.
I've had
what happens when you just click the random button over and over again?
It was
just
ham.
make something.
It was ham, lettuce, and mustard. So that's a good combo right there. You just click that. Oh wait, butter. There was also butter in it.
What?
Don't eat butter. It just makes you unhappy. Like, it literally, it just makes you unhappy. Eating butter makes you depressed.
Okay, I feel like this game is non-realistic, because most people makes them happy at the end of the day. If you've ever had a really good meal, butter is it.
Yeah, but you're not like, the stick of butter is delicious. That would make you sad. Just a mouthful of nothing but butter.
You have to add butter to stuff.
I knew kids back in the day that used to eat butter.
Well, we are not kids in this game. We are full-grown adults, and eating raw butter makes us unhappy.
So does burnt TV dinners. That makes you sad.
It's got a lot of calories in it, but, it makes you unhappy.
We're learning so much about nutrition.
Project Zomboid is a ton of fun, by the way, folks. If you haven't got it, I'm still pushing it. I think I've sold about 10 copies now. Let's go.
I finally bought my copy. I'm just saying this now. I finally bought my copy. I
was going to say
yesterday.
Copy.
No, I'm drinking coffee.
I just bought
my copy yesterday. So I got my copy yesterday, and I was like, okay, because I was, and this is like the mishmash of games we've all played this week. I was deciding to play Medieval Dynasty, because it's that survival style game or whatever, but because it has an actual plot line to it, it's kind of not fun. It's very slow paced, too much tutorial, a bunch of other stuff going on. So I was like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. So I played it for about an hour, stopped, and I was like, okay, you know what? I've got Project Zomboid, so I'm gonna download this in and go. So I go in to customize my game, set the whole thing up. I was told ahead of time, make sure that my zombies were a little slower, not the really fast ones, all that stuff that y'all had gone through. Went through the whole thing, checked every little bit. It took me like 20 minutes to set this whole thing up. Hit the go button, and error. You need to reset. And the whole thing crashed. And I was like, fuck life. I'm going to go to a totally different game now at this point. I'll go back to it. But that pissed me off.
Did you have mods or something? It might have been one of a conflict with mods.
I had a couple mods that were in there, so it was.
Were you hosting, or were you playing solo?
Solo.
Okay. With solo, you could pick one of the 4 basic ones, and you could just choose builder to kind of play a more slow-paced version of the game. There is I think the first setting is like longer lifetime, but the zombies are more dangerous. That is the one I have running on solo. That one is it's difficult, man. That one's the one I've lost like 8 characters on, but I've got one going for a few days now. But definitely play on something lighter so that you can learn the entirety of the mechanics, because there's a lot to fucking learn. Oh my god, I'm still learning things. Oh, the game is complicated yet simple. And at one point, Red last night while we were playing, he's like, man, this game is so realistic, it kills me. I don't remember what he was doing. Shit. He was doing something at the house, and then he just like, oh my god, and just was losing it. I cannot believe that everybody has gotten so deep into this game.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite part is, so you were streaming, and I get a message from Grif, and she's like, I found a gnome. I wonder if I can steal the gnomes. Then I hear her ask you if you can take the gnomes. And he goes, you're like, yes, but they're heavy. Okay. And so I sent her, and it was one of the first ones that popped up. It was literally a GIF that they have that's like, signing into Project Zomboid now, time for the workout. And somebody doing the push-ups, because she had talked about having to do a bunch of push-ups in order to be able to carry all the stuff she wanted. I thought that was hilarious, though. That game, though, like, watching you play it, like, you can't help but go, I kind of want to play this now.
You're welcome. I don't remember the name of the company. I sold a bunch of copies for you.
A 9-year-old game.
Yeah.
Yeah. My story for Project Zomboid, we played on the multiplayer server a lot this week, and I lost my lady. For the first time, she lived for 21-something days, 190 zombies killed. We were out on an adventure. I'm used to playing solo, so I lost my character in the group as we were being surrounded, and I ended up getting bit. And that sucks. Oh my god. So I had to pack up all of her stuff, and I had to go back and kill her, and I buried her outside of our house. Also, all the houses are starting to break down and deteriorate on our server.
Yeah, they are.
It's rough.
They're serious.
Oh man. So I was tilted as fuck. Like, oh my god, I was like, the needle broke. I was tilted so hard.
Yeah, he was like bad tilted.
Yes, and so my next character, I just made a lumberjack, and got some carpentry points, and I said, fuck this, I'm gonna go out and live in the woods. Like, and I just left there. Like, I go back to the house every day, but at night, but during the day, I just go out by the lake, and I'm building a cabin, which I have all of it done and whatnot, and I've just been sitting out there. I've got a campfire and a chair. At one point, everybody came down, and I had to go pick up a chair so that I could sleep in it while we all just hung out around the campfire because I was so exhausted. It's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna sleep here. You guys can bullshit while I take a nap. And then we went back. I've got to go level up my carpentry so I can finish the roof on it. But for now, that's what I'm doing, because it's a nice, relaxing part of the game where I could just low-key chill in my cabin and not have to worry about zombies. I get a periodic one or two that'll come up and say hi, and I just bludgeon them to death, and then toss their bodies out into the lake or something. But for the most part, I have just been playing low-key on the multiplayer server. So that's kind of what I have on my stream server. She's still going strong, knock on wood.
Hers is deteriorating too, though. You haven't started build with her.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna get a car, and I'm gonna turn into a nomad. Like, I'm just gonna get a car, a bunch of duffel bags, and I'm gonna load up the back of the car, and I'm just gonna drive from city to city. Like, there were a couple, like, I'm playing this game so casually compared to what I've seen people be able to do. They just get guns, and they kite 50, 60, 70 zombies around, just blowing them apart. They got grenades. It's crazy what people can do.
What makes the game really cool, though, and like interesting to watch, is the fact that like you're playing it very casually, very intellectually as well. Like, a lot of reading has been taking place,
leveling skills and things like that.
Yeah, and like trying to get the skill levels up, and then you have those people that are like in it for the zombie kills, right?
Yeah.
They're in it like, let me kill these zombies, let me do this. Where you're like, I'm surviving the way that I would if this was really happening to my character or me. Versus them going, I'm playing a video game, let me go kill things. And I think that's the kind of cool. But the game looks, and everybody, I'm telling you now, like, we're telling you kind of just a small amount of how complicated this game is.
Yes.
It looks non-complicated whatsoever. But once the game starts, you realize how much detail they had to put in each little thing. How much calories you're burning. How much this is going to add to you. It's crazy to me, the math that they had to do for this game.
There's so much going on the back end of it. Like, that's where the real part of this game shines. The graphics are, like, you look at it and you're like, oh, this is just like a simple little meh game. But then you realize the systems that's running in the background and how complicated they are. It's like, oh, that's where they dedicated the time to. Like, it's crazy.
I love the amount of styles that you could play too, like because you could turn zombies off entirely. Like one guy's mode was like he turned off zombies entirely. He gave his character extra thirsty, extra hungry, and he made everything extremely rare. So basically, you're playing a rapture version of the game where you have to just you travel around the cities as much as you possibly can to survive as long as you can. Of scrounging whatever little bit of food that you can find. So like you could change all the settings, and there's 28 days later where you can make the zombies like super speed and group up, and as soon as they see you they just full sprint after you, and it's like, oh god,
I don't want that. I don't.
Nope, I don't want that at all.
Turn out finite number of zombies so that you can eventually clear the world of all zombies. And like there's a bunch of different styles of end game that you can play, and at some point they're going to put NPCs back in the game, so that there will actually be other survivors that you can find, or after you kill all the zombies you can restart civilization. Like there's just so
Look, here's what I want. Options. I want them to put the actual animals that I hear in the game. I'm tired of hearing random turkeys and never seeing a single one. Not one exists in the actual world, but I'm just wandering around. I'm like, there's zombies over here, and all of a sudden you're like, what? Is that a turkey?
Do you think the thought process on that is like, because let's go back, at some point there's a finite amount of food in the actual thing.
Right. So
we turned on respawn. Stuff will start.
I'm talking about like you were
talking
talking about the Rapture version, right?
Yes.
So like,
you can go fishing.
So there's got to be, if you eliminate all the zombies, because the zombies have to be eating the turkeys or something to where you're not seeing them.
So the sound of the turkey I'm hearing is the turkey death cry because a zombie just grabbed it. I see. Yes. There's also moose sounds and like wolves or coyotes or something.
No, there's trapping in the game, so I'd assume that.
That's true. What can we trap if it's not the turkeys? Is it just for like rats? I mean, I know there's like dead rats that you can find and eat, and I don't know why you'd want to do that.
That might be early on with it, but
in build number 42, which is the build coming up, wildlife roaming the countryside, ranged combat overhaul, sneaking, and improved fire graphics and mechanics. So that's going to be next. Now I'm going to look at what trapping allows you to do.
Wildlife. I took Kat on, like, never go with me anywhere, because there are two outcomes. One, you run into a giant horde and die, which is what happened to me when I was running around by myself. I got my body back, but I did lose the car, but Chicken said I could take it. So that's kind of on him. Or two,
I'd say that's fine.
My cat was like, okay, I'll go with you. Where are you going? I was like, I just want to go to the west, because we're not on the map. That's the closest border to us. So I was like, I wonder if I can get to the end of the map just to see. I'm going to follow a road. Man, I took us into like some sort of wildlife preserve, like natural forest area or whatever. And it was a road, but there was literally nothing on it. We walked for like 45 minutes in real time. Just our characters walking this road area and in the middle of nowhere. Not a single zombie. No animals. We found one car crash that had the key in the ignition, but the car wouldn't work. So, that's fun. And I was just like, how did I pick this horrible direction where there is literally nothing for us to do? There's no houses to search, no businesses to search, no zombies to kill or run from. There's literally nothing over here. Why did I waste our time? I didn't know. Never trust me. Like, don't go with me. I don't know what I'm doing. You're either going to die or be incredibly bored. Like, so bored that you wish you had the other alternative. Your choice.
I can get to that point.
For trapping, you can catch mouse, and rabbits, rats, small birds, and squirrels. And then you can get rabbit meat, small animal meat, or small bird meat from it.
That's right. I did find a place with squirrels.
When you run out of food, you got to start setting up traps and whatnot. Or if you want to live off the grid and out in the forests and whatnot, you've got to be able to survive.
I mean, that's
you can fish and trap.
Well, Grif knows where a big forest is.
Yeah,
but there's nothing else there.
Mm-hmm. There's probably some wildlife. Check that out.
Trust me, I'm going to be living out in the damn cabin.
There was water close to there. That might be a good spot to actually start building the permanent base or something.
We're just gonna go. We're all gonna turn into actual like weirdo off-gridders and go live somewhere in the forest
my
together.
cabin is gonna be my home until until this character dies, and then I'm gonna re-roll and move around. But I'm still gonna mark the map as this is like the main cabin because it's right next to water. And I'm gonna put some generators and build a nice big wall around there, and basically create a little compound so that I can actually have protection over there. But for now, it's just a starting place where I can blow off some steam and chop down some trees.
But you'll eventually have to have. I mean, based on the map that I've seen, because on yours, Chicken, when you're streaming it, you've picked up maps. So there's like sections that you've picked up, and then there's a lot of stuff you haven't explored yet. So I'm assuming the map is actually quite large based on that. So it might be where you need to have said bunker. So if you're moving from point A to point B, you have a safe house essentially to be able to move on to the next section.
What most people do is they create outposts all over the place in all of the towns so that regardless of where you are, you can stop by, pick up some supplies, and move on. Like if you're starving or if you need some gas or something like that, you can stop here, pick up some stuff, which is why online servers are super interesting because they're live 100% of the time. So you got people, like actual people, roaming around, building things and places and outposts, trying to survive just like you. And
That's
16 people is not that many for a map that big.
True.
They're going to double it though.
So what else has everybody been playing? Because
I played some more. I finally got to play some more Death Stranding, and everybody in this game, there is not a single character in this game that does not have a tragic backstory. I'm pretty convinced. Like, every person that you come across is like, my whole family is dead and this is why I do this thing. Or, I never had any family and I'm alone in the universe and that's why I'm sad. Or things like that. Like, every single person. There is not one happy person in this whole entire game. I am pretty sure. And if they are, I have not met them yet. So let me tell you, like, how fun it's been to just be on this roller coaster of sad. It does really, like, it fits with the motif, obviously, like this desolate world where everything's dead. Obviously, things are not going well, so it's not like, you know, you're gonna meet a whole lot of people that are like sunshine, rainbows, and kittens. More like, death and decay. A lot of death and decay. So, I lost my 4th truck. I can't drive. I got it stuck on some terrain, and it like knocked me out of the truck when it got stuck because it had actually, like, part of it was kind of in the rocks, and I was like, oh, I gotta stop doing this. Like, I just have so many, I'm gonna scatter the world with vehicles that I got stuck on random terrain. But at least I figured out I could disassemble it. I don't think I get anything for disassembling it, but I can't take it anywhere, so I just... That's why I always, always, always have a floating carrier in the inventory of the truck, so that when inevitably it gets stuck, I don't have to carry everything on my back. I can still put it on my little friend, Francesco, and we're going to go about our business. So, also they eventually named BB. I won't tell you what the name is or anything. That's, you know, y'all can figure that out if you want to play. But I don't know what I think about it, because my brain still thinks about him as BB. So it's kind of weird that he has a name now. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, it's kind of like Baby Yoda for Mandalorian. Once everybody found out the name, everybody still says Baby Yoda. You know. So.
I guess so. Like sometimes we are introduced to a character and called this one thing for so long, it's hard to like transition into it being called something else, I guess. I will say though, I was looking through the mods for Project Zomboid, and there was somebody's modded one of the outfits that Norman Reedus' character wore in The Walking Dead into it, and I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh look, Sam! Because apparently I can't think of him as a real person anymore.
Poor Norman. Sam. It's like either he's Sam or Daryl. Like, he's just completely lost his own personal identity.
Oh, man. Kind of, yeah.
At least he's not typecast, though. At least, like, it's not the same style of plot line going on in Death Stranding as it is.
No,
I mean,
he definitely
still the
plays
undead,
the
right?
same kind of person.
Oh, fair.
Quiet, withdrawn individual who is the badass but quiet.
Like he's dealing with his own personal struggles every time.
Yeah. Yeah, trust me. I feel like he's definitely going to be typecast. Unless we see something where he has to be much more out there, I think he's going to be always that withdrawn.
That's why I love seeing interviews
guy
with him, because he's such a laid back dude, like hippie sounding, and like it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To see the difference.
Also, I think I am tired of seeing his naked butt in the shower. Like, I can skip the cutscenes, and I do every time for anything I do in the private room where it's like he's drinking pop or whatever. All that stuff, I just skip through that because I don't need to watch it for a million times. But I always have to see him, like, walk into the shower, and I'm like, this is a real person, and it's kind of getting weird now.
You didn't care. You didn't. Jin Sakai's butt didn't bother you.
Yeah, but it's because
You're right.
he wasn't a real person. Like, that
I'm pretty sure he was mocapped off a real person.
I mean, that's true, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't.
He
Does the
technically is a real
voice actor
he's just not a
look
real
like
actor
Jin?
you normally know.
Do they look the same? I need to know, because if there's not like a 1-to-1
I think
parody,
they do, because I want to say that
Oh no.
Chicken looked them up on stream. I want to say they look similar.
Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, I mean, maybe somebody's gonna get mad at me for saying this, but Jen did have a better butt, so I'm just saying.
Ha! There's actually an article. Ghost of Tsushima actor reacts to seeing his own butt in the game.
I mean, I guess that's not a side of yourself you're used to looking at, right? So
What am I saying? Why am I saying yes to my own butt?
at least he knows.
Yes, actually, it is. He
Okay,
he
well,
mocapped
why do
his
you gotta
own
make it
character.
weird?
So the voice actor mocapped his character.
Well, you gotta make it weird. Thanks for that.
So yeah, you were like, yeah, look at that butt to that actual guy.
Well, it is what it is. At least the voice actor acknowledges that it was nice, right?
I know, right? You
What-
gotta
what about-
compliment
okay,
yourself.
look, I did not mean to derail this into video game butts. What else?
Hey, well, you know
That's
what?
going in the
a
title
fun
for this
We're just
show.
gonna move on. We're gonna do what we gotta do.
Yes.
I've played some Icarus with No Pants, and we moved on to a new challenge, because you get to one point, then you try to pick. You have like 6 different ones that you can choose from challenge wise. So we chose one that was kill a predator. So that's what we decided to do.
Okay.
And so we built up our entire cabin, and I had to get to where I could do a stone roof as quickly as possible, because the area that we're in, at some point you get lightning storms and it will catch everything on fire. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and make sure I have the stone one so that doesn't happen. And then I also have come up with a way to have wood walls and stone roof without the damaging the wood walls when the strong winds come through. So I've figured out a way around all this. And so we were playing the game, and we're like, okay, let's go. Let's finally go kill the predator. You got 2 hours before you have to go to bed. Let's go do it. And he's like, okay, got it. So we head over to where we need to go to, and it's like, find the area where this person got attacked. And we're like, cool, found it. And then it's like, now go on the other side of the map and find where somebody else has been attacked. We go all the way over the other side of town. Here we go. All right, cool, found it. And then it goes, all right, now wait until nightfall, and then you can find where the actual predator is. So we waited until nightfall, and we're walking around an area, and all of a sudden you hear this bear noise, and I was like, this does not sound good. And this bear randomly is coming out chasing after us, and we're trying to kill it. It's like, okay, which we'd already figured out the actual predator was not a bear, but it was just a bear that happened to be randomly in the area. So we're like, okay, so we end up killing the bear. Then we get to the part, the actual predator, which is this big, if you've ever seen the Never Ending Story, it is the Nothing from the Never Ending Story.
Oh.
It is just this big, or at least his, I don't know if he's actually the Nothing, but that's what I always think of as the big black wolf that with the big glowy eyes.
Is that not,
or he
did you not
was,
say that's what he was?
yeah, I think he did.
I'm gonna
I
have
can't
to
think of
rewatch
that
that
if he
movie
was
and
a
cry.
servant,
Thanks.
a servant or of the Nothing. I can't remember which one he is, but so
I
but
don't
that's
think he was the Nothing.
he was a servant of the Nothing. Is that right?
I don't know. Just keep going. The wolf
Anyway,
movie. We got
so
it.
anyway, that's what it looks like. And so he'll howl, and then like 10 other wolves will come running out.
No thanks.
So I get killed almost immediately. No Pants is cheesing the situation by standing on top of a rock, and nothing else can get to him. And he's like, I'll try to get to you in a minute. Well, we got the health bar down to about halfway. The thing goes running off. Well, I was close enough to the wolf to where if he came over to me, the wolf then called more wolves in, so he couldn't get to me. And I was like, great. So I'm sitting there watching him, and he's sitting up the side, and all of a sudden from nowhere, I hear this roar like that. And a bear comes by, goes up in the top, and swipes the crap out of No Pants, and he goes flying across the screen and landing down is dead. I was like, okay. He goes, so what do I do? He said, he goes, how are we going to revive? And I said, well, let me go ahead and respawn, because there's a hell of a penalty if you have to respawn. Ooh. So I respawned, built up my, got a bunch of stuff, weapons and stuff real quick, from our main place, and hightailed it all the way back over to him. Was able to get him up. So he got him up, and then we built a house outside of a pond. And we're sitting over the pond like, okay, what are we going to do next? And all of a sudden my screen, my frames per second dropped to like 9. Weird shit's happening. I'm like, what is happening right now? And then we hear a ship coming from the sky. And one of my friends from college, who also watches my stream, joined in. We didn't know he was gonna, like, there was no problem with him joining in.
Jumping into their
but
game.
at least tell me you're gonna join it. There was absolutely no issue with him coming in. I want to make sure that it's clear. He has a open invitation anytime he wants to play, but we had no idea. So it's like I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is happening? Because my screen is just freezing, because every time somebody joins in, it kind of messes up, because I'm the server essentially, right? So it's freezing, and then he joins down into it, and I'm like, what is happening? So he comes over, and we come up with this idea to build a fort as close to the wolves as we possibly can. Like, just build a fort area near the rocks and those. And then I have to run out, get the wolves to call the other wolves, and then I have to run back inside as quickly as possible. So I'm the bait, essentially.
Right.
And we go in, and we're sitting at the top, and we're trying to kill all the wolves as best we can. We finally were able to do it, but it took us, just to kill the wolf, once he got into the game, it took an hour.
Damn.
Like, so it was a good battle. Like, I enjoyed the hell out of it, because it was one of those where you just like, it was just fun to fight. You still had your 7 days if you didn't, want to do that fight that day. You still had plenty of time. But we went in and did the fight. It was great. And then the other game that I've been playing that I am completely surprised that I've been playing is Final Fantasy 13. My first Final Fantasy game happens to be one that was literally where I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for Red Dead to do its thing and download onto this, and then I can just go through and casually play Red Dead. And this is an old 360 game. I want to see what this game looks like now that it's transferred over to Series S. Right. So I pull it up, I start playing the game, and I really liked it. And I just kept playing. I am now 8 hours into a 48-hour long game. That's if I'm not trying to do any side mission shit. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, there's a sequel that's 30 hours, and then there's another sequel that I have no idea how long that one is. So I'm like, great. I have just committed myself to like 100 hours of the game, but story-wise, really enjoying it. The only thing that I'd point out is most of the names for the good guys, the ones you're playing as, are light-colored names. So, and what I mean, so like, think light side, dark side type Star Wars. That's where my brain goes. You got Snow, which is white, right? A person's named Lightning. She goes by Light. Another girl, her name is Vanille, really close to Vanilla. I'm just saying, and then you have a guy whose name is Hope, which is like the light side of, a process of life, right? Look on the bright side. Always have hope, right? And it's like, and I'm like, why? And then you have one random guy whose name is Zaz, and it's like, Okay, well, that's it. I don't know why your name is that. I should look it up just to see if it in another language if that means like light or something. But plotline was overall those is really good. I'm really enjoying the hell out of it. I don't know what other people thought of because I didn't look any of it up of what 13, but they must have liked it because there's 2 sequels to it. So, but it's pretty good.
I don't know. I didn't play that one. I do remember, I remember it being controversial for some reason, or something. There was something newsy about it, and I can't remember at all because it's been years. So.
Yeah, I mean it's a 13-year-old game.
Yeah. Wow, it's been that long. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I don't feel old at all. Not at all.
Yeah, it was released in 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, we can just never talk about years. That's fine with me. Oh, man. What about you, Baka? What have you been doing?
Well, the Project Zomboid and Metroid.
Did you finish Metroid?
How's that going? You still enjoying it?
Yeah. At another boss at the moment. I haven't gotten any further than that. I actually haven't played the past few days. I've been working on some other things.
Yeah, Baka's been very busy.
Reinstalling WoW and all the add-ons.
His game basically broke. It wouldn't let him do anything. Oh.
Yeah, in the middle of a raid, I couldn't swap out arrows or anything. Went to try on another character. I hopped on the shaman. Couldn't switch out any gear.
Yeah. His game was just like, no, you have picked your permanent life states. These are it.
Wow.
Yeah. But you fixed it though, right? The reinstall fixed it, didn't it?
It seems to be working so far, yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm just glad that resolved. Ooh,
yeah.
That would be a mess.
So.
You can never do anything in this game again. Keep paying for it though. Which I wanna talk about that stuff, but that's gotta wait because it's Blizzard. We got 37 billion Blizzard news things to talk about.
We'll get to the Blizzard stuff, but we got a couple of small things to kind of fill in.
What are the small things? Let's just go ahead. We're 36 minutes into the show.
All right. The first one isn't going to take that long.
Okay.
Dark Souls on the PC, all the servers have gone offline because there has been a tunnel between games where people are remotely hacking other people's computers through the online services of Dark Souls.
Can we not?
Let's see. While the publisher stopped short of specifying what the issue specifically is, players are pointing to posts on the Elden Ring subreddit that states it is now possible for Dark Souls 3 invaders to run code on your PC without permission, aka RCE, remote code execution. This same hack is possible in Elden Ring. So, with invaders, in case you don't know what Dark Souls is, invaders are when people invade your game to kill you. And at that point, the people can now invade your game to kill you and attack your PC.
Oh, that's fun.
Remotely hack your PC, which is a pretty severe problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So they completely shut down all the servers to stop every bit of connection. First of all, how long has this been an issue? I highly doubt that it just suddenly popped up.
They just now noticed.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Souls 3 has been out for quite a long time. So there's no word on when servers are going to be restored. And if this is a problem into Elden Ring, which means the online services for Elden Ring will not be available on launch. So,
and that's for console as well. Not for the Dark Souls one, but the Elden Ring one. It said that they think it's also possible for the console one through the Elden Ring PC server.
Yes.
Because I guess they're allowing for you to invade if you're on PC to go into somebody's game that's on. It's so dumb.
I always turn that shit off. I just want to play the game. I'm not worried about the PvP part of it. Whatever. That's not what I'm looking for. But yeah, that's the whole Dark Souls thing that popped up. It just kind of popped up, blew up, and everyone's like, "What the hell? How is this possible?" And then they instantly shut down the server. So they're dealing with it. It's just a pretty bad thing to have had to happen to begin with.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great.
And the other little bit of news is something that Grif tiraded on a little bit last week, and we have a little bit of a follow-up to that.
Oh, you wanted me to say it?
Yeah, Grif,
Yeah,
go ahead. You get him, Grif.
I wasn't ready. You were doing the thing. Yeah, so you remember that company that we talked about last week that Troy Baker talked about because he was like super in love and you can create or hate and what are you going to do? Yeah, so they actually have been using voice lines from another service without permission. Shocker. Absolutely cannot believe that this company would be shady as fuck. Shocking. Troy Baker was selling it to me. Turns out he didn't really do his due diligence, I guess, in figuring out what this company was all about. Cause yeah, they were, and when they were called out about it, they were like, "Oh, we're sorry. We'll take that down immediately. We had no idea." I'm sorry. This is your product. How did you not know? Also, Troy Baker, did you not look into this company at all, sweetheart? Like, did you do any research at all on what this company was doing? Or who else it might have been partnered with?
The only research he probably did was the paycheck that they threw at him.
A lot of people are saying that. And I don't want to be like that, but jeez.
It's like, here's some money. Can we use your voice? Oh, wow, this is a nice money. I'll take this. All right, yeah, cool. Hate it or create it. That's what I hear.
Well,
yeah. I have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. I got money, though.
The issue is that maybe he didn't look into it and was just kind of like sold on the ideology of it, and whoever did the sales pitch was very good at their job. But if you are going to accept money to partner with a company or service, you should really look into them before you accept that cash.
Have your manager or your agent look into what the hell you're about to do. Like, have a secondary person helping you discuss these things.
Yes.
Like, I know sometimes they're not going to direct you in the right direction, but at least have somebody. Which, if you do, that person led you in the wrong direction.
And just to theoretically look at what's happened here, too. It's basically a smaller company that's trying to do the same thing that they stole the shit from to start with. So it's a possibility because of this happening. That's what brought this to light. So it might be where they could have done your research, but it's one of those where you're limited on how much your research is because nobody knows about this market that much. NFTs right now are a completely unorganized piece of shit, which we're about to go into, but it's one of those where it's like, what are you going to do? Like, Twitter's backing the NFT stuff right now for those that haven't noticed this week. And if you are an NFT you have an NFT picture and you want to put it on the internet, cool. You can put it on Twitter and your little icon goes from circle to a hexagon shape. And that way people know that you've linked your NFT picture and it's official. And
or
it's
you could just copy and paste.
Yeah, it doesn't keep me from screenshotting it. Even with my circle, what do I care? You know what I mean? Like,
because it's not a hexagon, man.
Yeah, it's not a hexagon, like, and I've got friends that do the NFTs. Like, one of them's got a legit picture that I actually really like. And the other one I look at and I go, why did you purchase this? Like, it looks like somebody's child made it, but all right, you do you.
But that's what a lot of the NFTs are. This is absolute garbage that I threw together in Microsoft Paint in 2 seconds. And now it's $5 billion because I say it is, and whatever equated value I say it has, it obviously does. Like, no, y'all are dumb. Y'all stop being stupid. If you got money to give away, I've got some bridges to be selling you if you'd like. You just come and see me about that. I can also sell you some virtual digital real estate in my Sims games. Make sure location, downtown's gonna go fast. Like,
well, I'm interested to see because there's a game that's called, I think it's Sandbox. I followed them on Twitter like 2 years ago. And you can buy land inside of said game and do what you need to. So now that I think about it, it's more NFT than ever. And now Snoop Dogg is back. You can get a Snoop Dogg skin for the inside of the game. Like, it's like
the amount of like celebrities jumping on the bandwagon should show you pretty quickly how much this is a fad. If you have like 15-20 celebrities in the same week announcing various different brand deals with a similar thing, the NFT being the similar thing, but with all these different companies. It's a fad. It's going to come and go real fast, and everybody that can is going to jump in on it, make their money, and jump right out.
Oh, yes.
If it's going to last and it's going to be a real thing, y'all need to wait to invest in it for a little bit until it stabilizes.
Mm-hmm.
Or just be smart. Don't be dumb. And
early adopters end up suffering more than people that adopt late at the end of the day.
For sure.
There's few exceptions. Like whoever it was that bought Bitcoin for 1 cent originally has a lot of money right now.
I 100% those people at the beginning sold all of it when it was at its peak and are now just
swimming in their pools of cash.
Absolutely loaded and don't even have to worry about the volatility of the market anymore. They're just I sold mine for $400 million. I don't have to worry about the market at all anymore. I just go and fucking live on my yacht and go to my private island. Fuck it.
With NFTs, they're just so rife with scam right now. We're talking about this one with the voice thing, but then this week also several YouTubers had their basically their profile pictures were screenshotted and then cut into basically another profile picture with the YouTube logo on it and turned into NFTs and sold without their knowledge or permission. So
NFT, if you buy it, it gives you the hexagon and not the original owner.
Yeah. How is that a thing that should be happening? I don't understand how that happens. How you can take something that is somebody else's work, and it in one of these cases, the YouTuber, it's a picture, a cartoon of him. So it is some other artist's work that you took a screen grab of, slapped a YouTube logo on it, and then sold it. What?
Mm-hmm.
In what world is that okay? And also, in what world, who is buying this? Who are you? You dumb person.
Well, and you're going to have, there's copyright laws that are going to have to change. Because Chicken and I were talking about this beforehand. Is it Dua Lipa? Is that her name? The
singer?
Musician?
Yeah.
The singer. So she posted things on her Instagram, and the Instagram pictures were herself. But somebody else took the pictures, so therefore they had the rights to the picture, even though they were her likeness. So she got sued by the original photographer because of the fact that she posted pictures of herself that she didn't own the rights to the picture. So at what point does the copyright happen? Is NFT going to count as copyright at some point? Because you didn't go copyright your shit.
If someone screenshots you, and then imagine someone screenshots, I don't know, somebody else's original artwork for a streamer or a YouTuber, and then goes and puts that on the NFT. Then that person, the person who made it and the person who bought it, don't have rights to it. The dude who stole it somehow gets copyright rights to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
see,
is that
and that's
even
the thing
possible?
is we're so early on. There's no actual. It's the Wild West. There's no laws and no rules, and so what's happening is a lot of theft and scams. Don't buy into it while it's theft and scams. If you want this to be a legitimate thing, then don't buy into it while it's garbage. You have to wait until it can be legitimate before you actually get anything for your investment. Or right now you're just throwing cash into the wind. And let me tell you, tell me when you're going to throw some cash into the wind and I will be there to catch it. Thank you.
Hell yeah, right here.
That is a much better use of your cash throwing. I will put it to good use, okay?
Like what, Baka? What have they thrown cash into the wind for?
Castlevania.
Yeah, tell us about that, man. You're the one that read up on that one.
Konami.
Oh my god.
I just ran across that. I thought it was stupid. What was it, $162,000 for the 35th anniversary of Castlevania? People spent that much money on NFT Castlevania stuff that Konami threw out.
Yeah, how
Konami.
many were there total?
That was test.
One of them was that what was that? I think it went for 26.
Yeah, the highest one went for 26,000.
What was a map hobbled together from pixels and stuff from the original Castlevania for the map port.
Okay.
And it looks like someone basically just photoshopped it like a week ago.
And they probably did. This is testing.
It's
Konami's like, oh, okay, well, people spend money on this. Let's do this. Because they don't feel like putting forth any actual work. Which is why there'll never be another Silent Hill.
Somebody is asking for $184,000 for a Castlevania soundbite. Like, are you absolutely kidding me?
Then you'll own it, though. Oh, okay.
I don't give a... guess what? I can click the sound button and I can listen to it.
Oh, you want to know what's even better than that? I'll do you one better. I can actually just push a record button on my PC whilst that soundbite plays, make my own MP3 of it, and then I too own it. How crazy!
Or, hold on. I've got you on this one. I pay however much for the freaking soundbite. Ready? Then I hire a lawyer to go through YouTube and through Twitch to actually make it to, if that soundbite's ever heard, I shut the channels down as they go on because I have the rights to that and they can't use it.
Okay, so what you are doing in this scenario is spending more money, so it's not an investment. You're just spending money because then you have to have constant lawyers on retainer and a service that's going to comb YouTube constantly.
If you're paying that much,
soundbite.
you have money to start with.
I mean, but why are you doing, like, who are these people? Who are they? You're so stupid.
Like, I don't know. But I'm just like eventually that's where we're going to get to. We're going to get to the point to where if you're auctioning off sounds, auctioning off pictures, you're doing all this other stuff, the people that are buying this stuff through NFT are going to come after people that are using the stuff like in ways that they don't want. No, you can't have that because I own it. You own it. And then NFT at some point somebody's going to have the NFT of said sound and go after the original people that actually created the sound.
Konami will put it in a future game, and then they'll be like, no, that's mine.
I own that.
You can't
I
use
have
that.
the rights right
See,
here.
this is the thing that, like, people aren't thinking about longevity and how it ripples out and what kind of things people will do once they own these properties. Like, same thing with Troy Baker's Voice and anybody else that does anything like that. At what point can you stop people from doing things that are bad with it because they own it? You know,
right?
Own in quotes, by the way. So, I think
it's interesting, especially when it comes to international law. Like, if somebody in America copyrights something that was made in Japan, and then he gets the copyright, and technically Japan could prove that they created it first, where does the international law start? It's like, well, he copyrighted it, so technically, it's like, but I created it, but he technically copyrighted the NFT. It's like,
well, technically international law is more of a suggestion than an actual law. Each country has their own laws and because they're considered sovereign themselves. So theoretically, let's say it's created in Japan, you live in the US, you copyright it in the US before it ever gets a chance to come from Japan, you get the rights to that before they do. So whatever that happens to be, part of a game or whatever it is. But we have a major development in gaming news. Like, we all woke up Monday morning or Tuesday morning. Was it Tuesday? Tuesday morning. And went, what did I just see? How many dollars and what just happened? So Microsoft is in the midst of an acquisition of Activision Blizzard for $70 billion.
Hey, get that number right. $68.8 billion.
Well, there you go. Nearly $70 billion. By the time you pay lawyers' fees and all that stuff, it's close to $70 billion.
And don't forget Bobby Kotick's get the fuck out of town fee.
I don't think they'll pay that. And I'll tell you why.
They are.
Hold on,
they already said that they're going to.
No. I'll tell you why. His contract up is in March of 2023. The deal doesn't go through until June 30th of 2023. So I think
what would stop
Activision,
them from renewing it?
Because of everything else going on. I think the reason they haven't kicked him yet, I think the reason the board has not kicked him yet is because they don't want to pay him the $292 million that they would owe him if they kicked him right now. So I think they give him his little bonus in March, because he'll get a little bit of a bonus, They'll give him that, and they won't renew the contract, and he'll be a month to month, or they'll put somebody else in that place because that job's no longer is in June. That job is no longer exists anyway.
Exactly. Phil Spencer is going to be in charge of Activision Blizzard, which, please, Phil, like, for the few people that I actually have faith in, and I understand you're a businessman first, but please fix Activision Blizzard. And this is one of those things where I'm torn about, where I want Activision Blizzard, I want Blizzard more than anything cleaned up and fixed, but I'm also very weary about Microsoft's ginormous acquisitions where they just kind of have a giant umbrella of games, companies and whatnot, which I think is okay, but it's also it's dangerous. As long as they don't keep going out and buying EA and buying like everything else.
I think that you're going to end up with three major players in the space, and they wanted to be closer to where Sony was at. Sony as a gaming company, revenue wise, is either number one, number two, depending on the year. The Tencent being the other one, and then it was Nintendo, and then Microsoft. Microsoft just beat them out by being able to get the revenue from what Activision Blizzard's making off of Call of Duty, WoW, etc. I think, but what I really think that they're doing this for is Microsoft is looking at long-term metaverse, 100%. They have no actual presence in mobile. This gives them an opportunity to do that because of King Technologies, King, that's part of King Technologies, swimming pool brand. You know, this is a totally different thing. King is when they got purchased by Activision with Candy Crush and other things like that. That helped them with their revenue. It's an easy way to get money. I think they'll leave that the way it is. The best thing, in my opinion, they could do is separate Activision and Blizzard again, allow Blizzard to work as an actual company, put some support into HOTS. I think you need a MOBA in this to be able to actually compete. And then you've already got a successful card game. You've already got one of the biggest RTSs in the world that needs a sequel at some point. So you've got a good standing there with Blizzard, and you keep it separate. You put Activision in to do what Activision should do. Work on Call of Duty, but make it better. Figure some shit out. Make it better.
Like the caveat, that's for real.
Yeah.
One of the other things that scares me about this acquisition, as I thought about it like a few days afterwards, is, and this is scary, Microsoft now owns 2 of the 3 biggest MMOs on the market. They own Elder Scrolls Online and World of Warcraft. The only competitor now is Final Fantasy 14. Like, that is huge for one company to own 2 of the 3 largest MMOs.
They own 3. If you think about it, they own 3 of the top games in the world, because you have WoW, Call of Duty, and Minecraft.
Call of Duty is definitely starting to, like, it has lost. Yeah, like it's going the route of Fortnite now, where it's the active user base is starting to, it's starting to slide down because they're just not doing anything.
They oversaturated their own market.
Yeah.
Well, but I think that part of what they did, which I'm hoping that they learned from this lesson is, and that Microsoft looked at it and go, okay, we're not going to do this yearly thing anymore. We're going to create one and support that one for a certain amount of time, and then create another one and support that for a particular amount of time. Like Call of Duty used to do, which made it popular, got people used to playing it, and then they would get the next one they could play it. But if your servers are still open, so if you prefer this style of play versus this style of play, it's there. But now they're combining the games, especially with Warzone. But I think that it's going to be very interesting to see what Microsoft can do with this. The other thing that's interesting to see as well is Sony has a contract with Activision when it comes to Call of Duty. There's certain exclusives that happen. All of the advertisement has to say PlayStation on it. All of that. I want to know when that contract is up. Because,
good question.
Because when that contract is up, I don't think they're going to tell Sony they can't have Call of Duty. That would be just asinine to do. But I do think they're going to turn around and go, hey, there's no more exclusivity, advertisement, and all this other shit because it's going to be on Game Pass day one.
I will give it to Phil. Like during one of the interviews, he's like, now that Netflix and Amazon and Facebook are getting into the game market, Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft all have to stand at the forefront of the gaming community because we are game companies first.
Yeah.
And everything else second. It's like, I appreciate that. I want my gaming companies to be at the forefront. I don't want Facebook or Amazon or Netflix to kind of come up and try to push their mediums into it. I'm fine with the competition, but they're not game companies first. They're other types of companies that are looking to kind of cut into the gaming market. So yeah. I do like Phil where he's like, I want to make sure that the three giants kind of stay in the forefront where we are games first, everything else second. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing they did is they increased with this purchase, they changed Phil's role. Where before he was the head of Microsoft Gaming, they've created as a separate division now, and he is the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. So yes. They've given him more power. He's put somebody into the marketing just for the gaming side of it, but they are looking toward the future and that metaverse and what needs to happen with it. And I think they've done, I've got one of my good friends absolutely hates Microsoft, everything to do with Microsoft, but the first thing he will tell you right off the bat is Phil Spencer's the best thing that's ever happened to Xbox and gaming. And I don't, the dude knows his stuff. He knows what people, he plays games, he's not just a guy that's in a suit that's in charge. He plays games. I would be interested to see if I went to Bobby Kotick's house, if there's even a gaming system in the fucking house.
Oh, I doubt
it.
With
$1 million,
I bet you there's not.
Yeah.
He's never touched, I'd be very, very surprised if he's ever played a video game, voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably had to do it for show. Hey, I'm playing this game, it's really fun. But
he's one of those people that you see on like all of the commercials and whatnot for stuff that's not about gaming, and they're not even holding the controller right, and you're like, ooh, that's not
right,
that's not how you do that.
That's backwards.
The people that hold the controllers by the grips and don't have their hands on any of the buttons at the front. It's like, oh yeah, you have no idea how that works, do you? Oh, it's cute though. You tried.
It's cute.
He'd be that guy.
Some of the other news that came in this week is Raven Software is ending its strike because they're starting unionization. They thanked everybody for the support. Ravensoft, of course, is getting acquired as well by Microsoft. It's going to be very interesting. Microsoft is vowing to make sure that they do try to change and make things more open and more inclusive to everybody. The recent article, which is not on this, I'll have to see if I can find it. There's an article that's out there that says Microsoft is now going through their own company to double check and make sure, even going back to when Bill Gates was there and looking at Bill Gates to make sure that there was nothing against him as well, sexual harassment wise, behavior wise, whatever it happened to be, to try to make sure that, they're completely clean as well too, which I think they need to do to make this acquisition work, because
I'm sure there are some dirty spots that need mopping, like in every company ever in the existence of anything.
Right.
It's just about making sure you clean those spots where if you're like, wow, this guy slipped through the cracks, we're going to have to bring him in, be like, all right, we're going to have to let you go. There are just too many things that have come up that do not fit with our culture that we want to have. So we're just going to have to let you go. And if you want to bitch about it, we'll air your dirty laundry.
Fun.
Part of this happening, Bobby Kotick has come out and had a meeting with a bunch of people, and he called it, basically it's a fireside chat, and he pissed everybody off.
He showed up late,
Shocking.
gave some bullshit, and then left early. Like,
Shocking.
he is done. He is absolutely
He's
done.
that
He's like,
dude
thank
that
God.
like handed in his 2 weeks, and then for the next 2 weeks you're getting nothing out of them. Like, you know that he's already checked out, but it's for a year and some change. Like, oh, great. Good thing he probably didn't really do much to start with.
Except for cause more problems.
Yep. The new head of Blizzard, because the other one resigned. Mike Ybarra is putting forth a rebuild your trust plan. I this kind of goes back to, are we phoning shit in at this point, knowing that Microsoft's going to be taken over, or is it one of those where are you going to step up to the plate, do what is necessary because you want to be able to keep your job? And I think Ybarra's on Kotick is, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think
Checked out.
Ybarra's like, you gave me a job to do and I don't want to lose my job knowing this shit's about to happen.
Yeah,
So at
I'm
least
pretty
maybe
sure...
put forth some effort. So we'll have to see at the end of the day how that new plan comes to fruition.
Words are hard.
And words.
Maybe the plan is to cause the ship to sink faster.
Mm-hmm.
Poke some extra holes in.
Right. Well, we will see on that one. And then in light of everything that has happened, Sony's stock value plummeted $20 billion after the announcement of the acquisition.
I mean, like, I get that,
the lowest
but at
it's
the
been
same
since
time,
2008.
like, at the same time, it's not like these games will absolutely disappear. I do think it is an issue of Sony, do you want to pay for the licensing? But I think
Yes.
the offer will be there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Minecraft is still on PlayStation.
Yes.
So it's,
If Microsoft is going to be a good guy, they need to give Sony good deals on the licensing fees to make it so that the community on the Sony platform can be part of the whole gaming community without Microsoft just siphoning off of Sony.
I think what's going to happen is this. I think Microsoft is going to look, because now they'll have access to all the previous contracts, and they'll be able to see what's going to benefit Sony, as well as be able to look at themselves and go, oh, well, we're just going to include it in Game Pass anyway. And if which we all think it is, that the Sony version of Game Pass comes out, I think they'll give them an option to be able to even not necessarily share, but put it on there as well for a limited amount of time, or you put it on your own for 2-3 months, and then so exclusively for your own Game Pass, but then you give it to them to be able to put on their Game Pass as well at some point.
I think the exclusives, the Microsoft exclusives, and if Sony wants to do this, because if Sony wants to play ball, this would be the perfect way. This Microsoft exclusives come to Game Pass. The other kind of games go to both Game Passes, and after a year or so, they will swap first titles where Halo you could play on the PlayStation Game Pass, God of War you could play on the Xbox One, and they'll allow the bigger games to kind of go to each other, so that you're never forced to being like, you have to buy an Xbox to play this. It's like, no, Sony and Microsoft are playing nice. Nintendo's still outside in the doghouse doing their thing. They live their best life. I mean, they do. They live their best life.
They're still the fourth largest gaming company. They're okay.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine. But it would make it so that these two juggernauts play nice together. And
I think the problem you're going to run into is the way you program something for Windows 10, which is what the Xbox is running on, is going to be different than what PlayStation uses. Traditionally, PlayStation has been very hard to build games for, which is part of the reason that their first party studios are as good as they are, is because of the fact that they are specialized in said programming. And it also is a part of the reason that you don't have PC games from PlayStation that get moved over very often as well. Not just the exclusivity, but how difficult it is to try to move it over into a different format. So, and my thing is I would rather Master Chief stay where he is, and I would rather Kratos stay where he is. Just
Except
because,
for they both are on PC.
and then the only time they ever meet's on PC.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? That's it. That's it's and maybe it's the the fact that I do enjoy my Xbox as much as I do, and I also enjoy my exclusivities with Sony. I like buying both.
Fine, and well, then give me the Xbox Sony Game Pass for PC, where they just shove all of their games on that together. And if I'm going to play on PC, I could play across both. Just split the profits to go to each other.
I think you'll end up with Sony will have their version of their Game Pass on that, and that's it.
I think they will too, but I mean, I don't want to have to pay for like a bunch of different ones. That's the problem that we're running into these days. I just want to pay you like $20. Let me play Sony and Xbox games on my PC, damn it. Work together. Give me something. Gah. I don't have to pay $15
All right, guys,
for
we're
Xbox.
about to call it short because somebody's running short on his time right now that he has available left. But is there anything else anybody else wanted to add?
No, I don't think we have time to add anything else.
I think we got through everything. That is my bad.
I didn't even know what was going on, and I happened to look up, and I was like, why do they keep talking in the channel? What's happening? And then we figured it out from there. We do appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week on Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slanum.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
Baka Pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel where she's posting like weekly, guys. Why are you not watching? Hit the little like button. Hit the little subscribe button.
I am watching, and I'm the first like.
You're the first?
Always.
I am the first like. I am the first thumbs up.
Okay.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313, where Chicken you've been playing through
Project Zomboids on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Pokemon Arceus Legends, all that on Friday.
Yay.
Perfect. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where I'm on just about every day of the week. I'll be playing Icarus today, and then probably playing through Godfall or something like that. Since I own it, I might as well play it at the end of the day. But for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.